Before starting this tutorial, there might be two questions you're taking currently, and we really have to deal with those before jumping into the details. Can you make money with sports betting on 2021? And how much can you make money on sports betting on 2021? Answer the first question, yes. Yes, you can make money with sports betting on 2021 with 100% certainty. You can absolutely make money by bookmaker mistakes still on 2021. Okay, the second question would be, how much can you make? Well, that's a little bit more difficult question to answer because it really depends on many variables, like your bankroll, like the time you're ready to invest, like which type of product are you choosing to exploit the bookmakers here. But short answer is that you can make thousands, and the more time you spend on exploiting the bookmakers, the more you're going to make. So first off, I do not work for RebelBetting. I'm a customer just like you. So this is more of a customer review than it is a commercial. So I'm just going to be telling my own results from both value betting and arbitrage betting, which are the two main ways to make money on sports betting. I'm going to be sharing my results, and I have an overall understanding how the sports betting market works, how the house makes money, and how is it possible for the player to make money. I do have a degree on finance, and I have never in my life seen as good investment tool as RebelBetting is. This is just absolutely fantastic. You can make crazy returns for your money. So without any further ado, I'm just going to jump in and show my own results, my own profits. How much have I been able to make money with value betting and arbitrage betting? And we're going to be talking a lot about those two and what's the difference, which one should you choose. But just to show you how much money has been made. So for the arbitrage betting, the web version was released around 2 weeks ago. So it was 27th of October. And I also started it that day. So since 27th of October, we are now living 9th of November. I have made 1,324 euros profit. If we look at the best markets, they have been soccer and hockey. Tennis has been quite good. Some esports, even some basketball. So this is from the shore betting software. From the shore betting software, you win every single bet. So like you can see, every single sport is at green, and you can see this graph, it's just going beautifully, linearly up. So we don't experience any downsides, we don't have any downswings, it's just beautifully going up. So for a little bit less than 2 weeks, I have profited over 1,300 euros. And that is amazing. So then we can check out the other product, which is called value betting. On value betting, I have made, this is from way longer range of days. So I originally started value betting in late 2019. And then I had a long break, like you can see from this line. I didn't place any bets. This flat line of no bets is mainly because of COVID. There was really no bets to be placed there because most of the matches were cancelled, or there was something there. So I didn't place much of bets for a long time. Overall, I have made, as we're living now, I have made 5,389 euros profit from value betting. And this is for a longer range, like I said. It's for multiple months. So to estimate how many months I've used for this, I would say it's around 4. So from around 4 months of work, and that has resulted in profits over 5,300 euros. And I have not done this as full time by any means. I only used around 30 minutes to 1 hour each day time for value betting. So for 4 months, 5 days a week, around 30 minutes to 1.5 hours, I managed to profit over 5,300 euros. By that time, I was actually personally studying. I didn't really consume much money, and all the profits were really welcome. So basically, I was just living with this software. I didn't have to do anything else except value betting. And that's something I'm really thankful for still. So now that I've described my personal earnings, which are from both of these products, they are a little bit less than 7,000 euros, my personal profits. I think my hourly rate is around 50 to 70 euros per hour. So now I will explain how these products, sure betting and value betting, how do they actually work, and how are we actually able to make money from the bookmakers with these tools. And this would probably be a spot on place to incorporate me to the video. So my name is Mikael, and I will be giving you a full tutorial on how to make money with sports betting on 2021. And there is no prior knowledge that you need here. We will be going through each step one by one. Which different methods can we apply to make money from the bookmakers as of 2021? So let's just dive straight in here. There are two main ways to make money on sports betting. The first method is called value betting. On value betting, we are betting on overpriced odds, and over time we are going to profit because of the mistakes of the bookmakers. So a classic example of overpriced odds is a coin flip. So if you're flipping a coin with your friend and your friend is giving you odds of 2.1 on tails, well, you're going to want to take that because that's an overpriced odd. The true probability for a coin flip for tails is 50%. It's either heads or it's tails. It's 50-50. So it's 2.0 is the correct odds for tails and 2.0 is the correct odds for tails. If you get the odds of 2.1, you really want to make a bet on that. And you might not win on the first throw. You might not win on the second throw. Or if you throw it 50 times, there's really no guarantee that you're going to profit by betting on that overpriced odds on the short term. However, when we increase the sample, if we throw the coin 10,000 times and you have the odds of 2.1, you can be very sure that you are going to profit with these overpriced odds. We can actually prove this. And the tool that I will be using here is a variance calculator. You don't have to use this, you don't have to be solid in this kind of stuff. It's just something that I use to make this point. So here, if we imagine you're with your friend betting on heads or tails, you have $100 to start with. That's your bankroll to start with, and you're getting odds of around 2.1. Here it's 2.111. So your friend is giving you odds of 2.1 for heads. That means that your return on investment, your expected value in this case, is going to be around 5%. And the way we calculate this is we have the odds right here. It would be 2.11, and we divide it by 2, which is the actual probability of what's going to happen. And we see that we are netting around 5.5%. And to get the actual 5.5%, we would just have a -1 from this number, which would lead us to 0.055, which translates to 5.5%. So we can actually put it right here. So the data here is that we have $100 bankroll. We have the odds of 2.1 around that. Our expected value, the expected return on investment, is 5.5% per throw. So let's throw the coin 10 times. So if we throw the coin 10 times, we can see that the chance that we're going to be losing at the end with these odds is 37.7%, which means it's pretty damn high. So we really, if we throw the coin 10 times, we cannot assume that we're going to profit. Because there's so much luck involved still, because the sample sizing it's just too low. If we look at the graphs, that we can definitely see that there is the fact that we have edge on the other player doesn't really matter on 10 throws. It's really low. Like these are the possibilities of different scenarios that can happen with those 10 throws. It's really not in our control. What happens if we add more throws? If we have 100 throws, Well, we're still going to be losing. We're still going to be the downside over 30% of the time. We can see that there's more or less we're actually going to be profiting. With 70% confidence interval, we're going to be, our bankroll is going to be from that $100 that we started, it's going to be between $99 and $110. What if we add 10,000 throws? Like we discussed, that we can actually prove that by 10,000 throws we're going to profit. So okay, let's just put here number of bets 10,000 and let's simulate this. So after 10,000 throws, we can see that our median ending bankroll, we started from 100. On median, it would be $594, starting from 100, only because we had that edge of 5.5%. We can see that after 10,000 throws, our chance to lose at the end is practically 0%. We're never going to lose this if we have 10,000 repeats and 5.5% return on investment. If we look at the graphs right now, this is different scenarios, different probable scenarios, 20 different random samples. We're going to win every single time still if we have 10,000 repeats. So if somebody would ever offer you 2.1 odds on a 50-50 scenario, and it's not rigged in any way, you have a machine that prints money right there. You really want to take that bet every single time if you have bankroll for that. So this is what value betting is. We are getting bigger odds than the true probability of the match is. And when we place bets on overpriced odds, in the long run, we will profit with absolute certainty. On the short run, we will face, like if we look at this sample size here, for 2,000 throws, you can make no profits whatsoever, even with 5.5% edge. So for the short run, it's not in our control in the short run. So we're going to face some downswings. We're going to see some variance affecting our results. But when we have an edge, when we have a mathematical edge, there is no doubt about it that in the long run we will profit. So now that we have a solid basic understanding on how overpriced odds work and that we can be sure that we will make money with them in the long run, let's see how they translate to real life sports betting. So how do you actually know if one game has an overpriced odds or one game doesn't? The most beautiful part of Rebel betting is that you do not have to search those games with overpriced odds yourself. They will be searched for you. So just a practical example to show you how the interface looks. Here is how value betting looks. So Rebel betting software searches through millions and millions of games each day and picks only the ones that have overpriced odds. All of these games that we see here on the left have been overpriced by the house. So for example, if I click this game, we can see that there is a tennis match and one player is given odds of 2.75. We can see that there is 7.9% value on this bet, meaning that this is an overpriced odd. The same applies to each one of these other bets here. All of these bets are overpriced. So how does Rebel betting know which odds are overpriced and which odds are not? So how do they know which bets to show for a player to make a bet on? To answer this question, we must first understand that there are two different types of betting sites that exist. There are soft betting sites and there are sharp betting sites. So the soft betting sites are the ones that offer us actually overpriced odds. There's multiple reasons why they do that. And for a few examples of those soft betting sites, 10bet, William Hill, there's CoralBet, NordicBet, Betson, Unibet, Ladbrokes. All of those sites are soft betting sites. Then there are the sharp bookmakers. And these sharp bookmakers, they include sites like Matchbook, Betfair, Pinnacle, S Markets. And historically, these sharp betting sites have been way better predicting the true outcomes of the matches. So by comparing the odds between soft betting sites and sharp betting sites, we can have a very good idea if a match has an overpriced odds or not. Take a random game here that RebelBetting has advocated for us. So let's take this one. There is a Uruguay second league soccer game. So we can just click here on the bet button and it will open the game for us. We can see that for draw there is over 10% value here. So okay, let's just quickly see what does Pinnacle, how do you say it? Anyway, what do they think about this? So I'm just gonna type in the team here. Let's see, it was yeah, this one. Okay, so for the draw, Pinnacle is offering odds of 2.82. Remember, this is a betting site that is very well informed of the true probabilities of any given match. But historically, we have just millions of games of data of this. And they are saying that the true odds for this game's draw is 2.82. Whereas Bet365 is giving us the odds of 3.4 to the exactly same market. So this is very clearly an overpriced odd. This is a typical way to pick up the pricing mistakes of bookmakers, of soft bookmakers. You can just see that this is basically 100% of the time a miscalculation from Bet365. So in a scenario where a soft bookmaker is giving way bigger odds than a sharp bookie, we can usually be pretty confident that this is an overpriced odd. And RebelBetting software will search all of these overpriced odds for us. So we don't have to do this ourselves like it was done. All we have to do is place a bet to this game, and that is it. So this game was searched for us. The same applies to each one of these on the left. All we have to do is place a bet on the game, and that is it. And now I will show you in practice how to place a value bet. So we're just gonna click any of these on the left, and the correct sizing, the correct stake is calculated for us based on our bankroll that we have entered to the RebelBetting system. So in this case it would be 28 euros. I would just click this, enter the 28 euros, place bet, it would be placed. Then I would just simply click here, log, and the bet is logged. So every single bet we make, we are going to log those. So we can see them at our tracker when we hover, when we go to menu, then we go to bet tracker. This is where we see all of our bets and how they have performed, which bookmaker it has been, what has been the stake, what has been the result, the profit, what is the cumulative profit we have, what was the date, what was the time, what was the game. So we have perfect data from every single bet we place. And like said, from the options, you can select what is your current bankroll. You can select which bookmakers do you want to have. There's so many bookmakers covered here. You can just, any of these bookmakers on the list you can add here, and the overpriced odds from their bets will be shown to you. So the more bookmakers you have here, the more overpriced odds you're going to see. So the more value bets you are going to make, and the more money you're going to make also. So it's a good idea to have multiple. At least 4 would be a good starting point for value betting, at least for bookmakers. It depends on how large bankroll can you start with. But since you are making profit from these soft bookmakers, your bankroll is going to grow. So the most important thing is just to start early. So don't be too focused on starting with the huge bankroll with all of these bookmakers. It's the most important thing is that you're just gonna open 3, 4, 5, and you're gonna accumulate your profit. And with that profit, you can open more sites, you can raise your stake, and you can make even more money. Overall, value betting is the most simple way of making money with sports betting. All you have to do is place a bet on a match that has been searched for you, a match that has overpriced odds. The way to get value betting software is to click the link in the description. So the Rebel Betting site will open to you. You will hover a little bit down. You can see here is value betting on the left. You will click check out value betting. So as we can see here, we can make even 30% return on investment per month just making these value bets each day for around 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. And historically, the profit per bet in value betting has been over 3% on Rebel Betting software. And that is crazy. So just imagine if you place 100 euros value bet and you make multiple of those per day, you would be making 3 euros then for every single bet. So that's a serious cash flow that's coming to your way each month. There has been placed over 3 million bets so far from Rebel Betting users. So in general, you will double your bankroll in the first 3 months on average. And the data in Rebel Betting is very transparent. So Rebel Betting shows you how much all of the users have made money from value betting each month. So we can see, for example, in October, there was over 200,000 euros made in value bet profits. And when we scroll a little bit down, you can actually make some calculations on what is going to be your typical return on investment each month. And I can definitely agree that it is the easiest way to make money. I don't know any easier way than just to bet on overpriced odds that have been searched for you. And when you hover a little bit more down, you get to basically choose between 2 options. So the Pro license is 179 euros per month. It will give you unlimited value bets, and it will also give you exchanges and sharps and brokers. The starter license is 89 euros a month, and it's really good when you're starting out. The way I approach this, if I would have a bankroll under, let's say, 1,500 euros, I would tend to go with the starter at that point. And when my bankroll would grow, or I would add more money to there, I would tend to turn to Value Betting Pro to get faster results and just to make more money in general. And one good thing to notice is that there is a guarantee for profit. So what does it mean? So if you don't make any money from your first month value bets, you will get the second month for free. Rebel Betting is very sure that their product works. I can actually assure that myself, and that's just a great thing to have. So there's an overall profit guarantee that you're going to get. And there's one more caveat to add here, and that is the fact that you will actually get your money returned to you as long as you don't make profits. That's highly unlikely. It is even unlikely to have a minus month, like a month where you don't make profit and you need this profit guarantee. But it is promised that if it would be so that you didn't make any money the second month, then well, you don't pay anything for the service. And that is, again, highly unlikely, but just something to remember here. That if you wouldn't make any money from the first month, the second month is absolutely free for you. And we talked about bookmakers a little bit. There is a full list of what kind of bookmakers you want to have when you're value betting. This is directly from Rebel Betting site. You can check this link out from the description. But some sites that you want to have, some bookmakers you want to have when you're value betting are, for example, Bet365, Unibet, William Hill. Well, all of basically these that are showing up. Just the more bookmakers you will be able to have, the more money you are bound to make. There's also some other points why you want to have multiple bookmakers. One part is limitations, because after all, it's a zero-sum game. If you win, the house loses. If the house wins, you lose. So it's in your interest to win, and it's also in the house's interest to win. So mostly the bookmakers, when they see a winning player over time, they don't really love a customer like that, so they might be limiting your bets. And this is something that we will come back on the end of the video. I will talk about how can we avoid those types of scenarios, how do we handle them. But just something to be mindful at this part is the more bookmakers you have, the more opportunities you have to bet and the more money you're going to make overall. Okay, now that we have covered value betting step by step, how to make money on placing a single bet on overpriced odds and over time profiting, let's see the other option on how to make money with sports betting. And that is called sure betting. And it is also known as arbitrage betting, risk-free betting. So what we are taking advantage here is that two different bookmakers are both giving very nicely too high odds on the same event, but on the opposite sides. So instead of placing just one bet, we will place at least two bets on the same market. And the most beautiful part about this is that we will win every single time. So it doesn't matter what the outcome of the match is, we will be profiting. So let's just look at a very basic example. This is just very simple how we're going to do this. So again, we have RebelBetting software right here. And RebelBetting is just, again, going through millions and millions of games each day. And it's picking up those games that two different bookmakers are making too high odds at the same time to the same game. So we can just click a game like, well, let's just see this one. So here we can see that one bookmaker, it's 10bet, or any of the bet clones that 10bet is going to have. We're going to also come back to this later, is offering odds of 4.05 for some team. We can actually go here and verify that. So they are offering 4.05 to the home team to win. And at the same time, Bet365 is offering odds of 1.40 for the away team to win. If we would have 1,000 euros to bet here, and we would place bet of 257 euros for the home team and 743 euros for the away team, we would profit 41 euros or 40 euros, no matter of what the end result is. So we will be profiting over 40 euros. If the home team wins, if the away teams, it doesn't matter which team wins, we will be profiting anyway. Let's just go ahead here and prove mathematically that we will win no matter what of the outcome of the match if we place these bets on a correct sizing, and the sizing has been already calculated for us. Like you can see, 257 for the home team and 743 for the away team. Important thing to understand here is that when we are winning, no matter of the outcome, then one of these bookmakers is gonna lose. So they do not like this situation. So usually when they detect that there has been a pricing mistake like this, the odd is gonna go down pretty fast. So usually the lifetime of an arbitrage risk-free bet that you can make money no matter of the outcome, it's something between 3 minutes to 30 minutes at the maximum usually. So like we can see here, now that it has taken me pretty many minutes to explain this, it's no longer a sure bet because one of the bookmakers has lowered the odds. So like we saw, maybe it was, for me, it was like 7 to 8 minutes ago, it was still like this. So if we had placed the bet then, we would have profited no matter what. So for sure betting, we have to be more present. For the value bets, they tend to have way longer lifetime, but for the sure bets, there are two different bookmakers. If one of them changes the odds, we immediately lose the risk-free profit that we're going to make. So that's just something to be mindful here, that for sure betting, you might have to spend some more time sitting on computer. You don't have to be just looking at your RebelBetting screen all the time. No, if you're like playing any games, if you're watching videos, if you're working, you can just have the RebelBetting software on the side, and it will notify you every time when a sure bet comes along. Okay, so let's just go through this example with these mathematical values. If the home team would win, let's see, we would have placed 257 euros for the odds of 4.05. So if the home team would have won, this is the cash flow that's coming to our way. And of course we have to minus the bet size, which was 257. So let's just minus 257 there and see that we are making then profit 783 euros 85 cents. And the stake that we placed on the second bet, because the second bet is going to lose if the first wins. So the place that the amount that we placed here for the second bet was 743 euros. So let's just go ahead and minus that, because that will lose if the first bet wins. So let's just minus 743 euros here. And we can see that if the first team wins, we will profit 40 euros 85 cents. Okay, so this is the scenario number one. Let's see what is the scenario number two, which would be that the first bet loses, this bet loses, and this wins. Okay, so let's calculate. We're gonna have 743 euro stake with 1.4 odds. Okay, let's go ahead. So 743 times 1.4, that is 1040 euros. And let's just minus the stake that we had, which is for 743. So we're going to left with 297.2 euros. This is the amount that we will win if the second bet wins. And we will lose the stake of our first bet then, and that would be 257 euros. So let's just minus that, 257 euros, which means that if the second bet wins, we are going to profit 40 euros and 20 cents. So let's just go through the different possible scenarios that we have for these two bets. So either the home team wins, which means that then we will win 40 euros and 20 cents. Or the away team wins, when we will win 40 euros 85 cents. Or there is going to be a draw, and if there's a draw, both of the stakes will be returned, meaning that the profit will be zero or the loss will be zero. So by making these kind of bets, we are just constantly going to find ourselves in a position where we cannot lose, we can only profit. And it just really is this simple. We will set our bookmakers that we have from the settings of filters. We can just select every single bookmaker that we have, and then on the bet column, it will show us risk-free bets. When we place them between two different bookmakers, we're just going to profit no matter of what the result will be. And you can just make insane returns on your invested capital with this, because I started with around 15,000 euros, and just in the course of less than 2 weeks, I have made almost 10% return to my bankroll. Let's just take a moment to reflect this fact that where could you ever make that kind of return to your invested money with no risk? There is no market like that. There is no market. The only risk that we're taking here is that we are misplacing our bets. That's basically it. Sometimes it happens. Then you have to cover the other outcome so that you will lose the minimum. Other than that, we are simply profiting every single time with every single bet with no risk. So for arbitrage betting, sure betting, that's about it that you need to understand. Like, everything will be searched for you. So again, the more bookmakers you're going to have, the more risk-free opportunities are you going to also have. So that's why you want to have multiple bookmakers. Again, when you go to the options and the filters, you can just select so many bookmakers here. And again, the most important thing is to start early, because what's going to happen to your bankroll? It's going to grow. It's going to grow naturally by the profits. So you can then have these profits reinvested to different bookmakers, which means you can increase your sizing also, which means you're just going to be making more profits every single month. And remember, when we talked about those sharp bookmakers, we can actually now use those sharp bookmakers to have one bet on the other end, and then to have the second bet on a soft bookmaker. And that way we can have a truly exploitative strategy on sports betting. And there is no part of gambling here. There's not one bit of gambling here. because every bet we place, we are going to profit, or we're at least not going to lose anything. And of course, the part where I said it's not gambling also applies to value betting. Like we saw from the coin flip example, when we increase the sample size, there is no doubt about it that we will be winning in the long run. And once you click the link on this video's description, it will take you to this same page that it did when you clicked on the value betting. So when we go a little bit down, we can see that there's the sure betting just by clicking it. We can see basically the same things that we dealt with here, that we cover all the outcomes and we will win every single time. There is no risk, and it's debatable to say that there's little risk. The little risk is involved if you accidentally place the bet on something else that it was supposed to. So that's where you actually have to be careful, that you really need to be mindful of that you are doing exactly what is told. But I really haven't had that situation myself. So just when you pay attention, there is no risk basically involved here. It's been used over 125,000 customers, and you can profit over 10 to 20% per month, probably even more. I think I can make even more than that. There's the same profit guarantee that's on value betting. So if some miraculous thing would happen and you wouldn't make profit on the first month, the next month is going to be free. I don't really understand how that's possible, but that's anyway the given scenario here. There's a calculator on how much money you can make on your initial investment. There's explained the same kind of things that we've dealt here. And there's the tracker, also explained that every single bet gets tracked just like in value betting. So you will have a nice graph of your overall profits and you will see every single bet that you placed. It will be automatically settled, most of the bets. So you really don't have to do anything else than just to place the bet and enjoy the profits. And there is two different licenses. Again, we have the starter license and the pro license. Same kind of pricing. So the Sure Betting Pro is 179 euros per month. For me, I have it paid itself back in just a couple of days. And when you're having a little bit less of a bankroll, I would maybe say around 2K. So if you're having under 2K, then it probably would be the best to have the starter license. And after that, once your bankroll is a bit higher, you definitely want to have the Sure Betting Pro here. So arbitrage betting is very simple. We place 2 or 3 bets on the same game and we cover all the outcomes, and no matter what of the outcome, we will win. There is even an ebook made of arbitrage betting that's on RebelBetting site. I will also put this link on the description of this video. So if you feel like you do want some more details on the mathematics and all the little caveats around sure betting, then you can of course go ahead, download this, read it. It's pretty good. Overall, I think I have now said enough information that I think I needed when I started first myself, that like with this kind of knowledge, you are just good to go. It's not rocket science. I think there's not that much else that you really need. So this is pretty much all the knowledge you need to start to make money with sports betting. And one thing that's really great about RebelBetting is that there is a community here. So they have whole forums for players to share their results, to ask questions, to analyze situations together. So this type of social community angle here, I find it really valuable here. So that's just something that's really great here. You can see other players posting their graphs of their wins and they having some questions. You can even ask questions yourself here, etc. Get answers from different value bettors and risk-free bettors. If there's some new bookmaker added, it will be noted here. So I just overall think that this community type of angle here is really good. If you have any questions, please feel free to post comments. I will also give you my own information on the description of this video. You can message me. I can help you get started on this whole project. I think the part where people stumble and where I also stumbled for some weeks was the part of just getting it started. Because once you get everything running, once you have the bookmakers made, once you have made a couple of bets, you just realize that there is no other way to make as easy money. At least I haven't found one. There probably exists somewhere, but this is just quite amazing that you can do this in these days. So if you have any questions, any kind of video topics you would like to see in future, if there's anything that I couldn't explain sufficiently enough that it still remains unclear, just leave a comment, or you can ask me directly. I hope you found this information useful, and I wish you the best of luck with the rest of your day. And hopefully we will see each other on a new video on possibly the same topics.